Hello everybody. This is going to be a walkthrough on a spur gear assembly and animation. Um, Basically, I'm going to give you all the parts, you're going to put it all together, and then we're going to animate it using what we learned today in class. So the first step is to just create a new document. I would call it the spur gear mechanism. I don't know, I'm going to call it example just for the sake of this video. Press OK. And I'm giving you all the parts, obviously, through the all company user system. We're trying to build this gear system down here that you see. And when you open a new document, you're going to see the assembly tab down here. So just go right to that, jump right to it. You'll see that you're in there because you'll see all the mates. You'll see all the stuff that you're used to. Insert. So we're going to insert all the parts. You'll see that the dialog box comes up. Nothing's in the part studio. Makes sense because we didn't make anything. So you go to other documents and you'll see all company users, and then all the parts that I gave you are in there, so it's pretty straightforward stuff. Basically, just by looking at this document or this image that I have over here, you'll be able to see that I have the beam. So I'll select the beam, come up, show you a little preview, click, zoom out a little bit so you can see that. I'm just going to press this back arrow here, and it brings me back to all the pieces. You get the 60 tooth gear, leave that one in there. The little guy 12 tooth gear, put that in there. And these are just 2-inch axles. So again, there's 4-inch there, 2-inch. If you just scroll over it, it'll show you. Click it, and we want 2 of those guys. Press the green check mark. That is it. That's all we're doing, is we're going to assemble these together, and then we're going to make them move. So first thing I want to do after I put all the parts in is I want to fix one of the parts. So I'm going to right click over the beam because that one does not move. So I'm going to click the fix button, and now all these other parts can still move except for the beam. The next thing I want to do is create fasten. So I want to insert the axle into the spur gears. So I'm going to come to fasten. I'm going to select the end here. I'm going to select hopefully the box. It's important to click the box one. So this is here. I click that, you'll be able to see, you'll be good to go. Now I'm gonna you'll see that the axle is kind of obviously on the end. That's not what we want, so we're gonna offset that down 1 inch, and you're good to go there. We can press solve, we can press the green check mark, and now that piece is all together. Do the same thing for the other axle, so I can stay in fasten if I want. I'm gonna select the end of this into, again, if you scroll around here, had it. And if you can't, you can always just rotate. It's easier sometimes. So now we have the axle in there. Same thing, we need to offset it on the Z, which you can zoom in here. You can see a little bit the Z is sticking out, and we're going to move it up and down there, again, 1 inch because the axle is 2 inches. So just put it right in the middle. Press solve, green check mark. And now we got our pieces together, right? Now we need to insert them into the beam. In order to do this, we basically use a revolute because we want it to rotate. We're going to choose the end of this axle again. And I want that to go inside the center of this. And again, the easiest way, you'll see that the spur gear does not follow it. It's because we didn't press the solve button. That's why we use the solve. It just uses the one instance that you had. And now we're going to offset this one, kind of important, 0.5. And it may not look, again, you press solve, it'll move the gear. It's not going to butt up against there, and I want you to do that just so that you can see, everything and not have to worry about any of this. So we're going to press OK. We're going to get the green check mark. And now after you see that, you should be able to see that the gear rotates inside of that system. I can take one of the teeth and spin it around, do that kind of stuff. Just from doing this so many times, you can put this one in the 4th hole. So we're going to revolute again. We're going to choose the end of the axle. We're going to go to this end. And again, same thing. You press the solve button, the gear will follow. You go to offset, change down the Z-axis, in this case, 0.5. And again, press solve so that the gear moves. Press the green check mark, and now you'll see from like even a back view or a top view that the gears are aligned at least, right? So we're going to rotate this around. Now that we have the whole thing together, you can see that both gears move, right? This one moves, this one moves. But obviously, if you look closer, they overlap each other. They don't turn in the right direction, and they're not animating. We're just moving them around. So we need to create basically a relationship between these two. And we're going to come up here to relation, and we're going to see gear relation as the first option. That's our obvious choice because we're dealing with gear relationship. You're going to select the two revolutes that you made, and that'll make them relate. And basically, we're not going to go into too deep with this, but it's out over in, which is input and output with gear relations. And the number of teeth, n, determines this relation ratio. So in this case, we have a 12 tooth gear, we have a 60 tooth gear. Those divided together equal 0.2. We can press the 0.2, we press the green check mark, and now you can see live time that as I move one gear, the other will move. And as you can zoom in, I know all my nitpick and OCD, you'll see that the gears do not go in perfectly. They don't. They're still overlapping. But the good thing that we did just create is that relationship. So as one spins, the other one spins accordingly as far as speed, torque, all that kind of stuff. So now we need to fix this little gear ratio. So we're going to go into this little teeth issue. We're going to go into fasten 1 or fasten 2, doesn't really matter. And we're going to move this along or rotate it around the z-axis. 5 degrees seems to be the kind of answer. See, I went the wrong way. Let's go -5 degrees. And now if I zoom into this top view or even see here, you'll see that it is perfectly within its limits. You can mess around with this number as much as you want. I press solve, I press the green check mark. And now the very last step, after I've gotten them all aligned, now I have the revolutes all figured out. I can come into either one of these revolutes, right click, click animate, and then press play. And you'll see that the live orientation, the live rotation. If you have any questions, just ask your teacher. You can always just press stop. Make sure you show a screencast of this at working, and you should be good to go. If you have any questions, ask your teacher, guys. Thanks.